What's up, Rich Squad? Welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Dominic Rich, and as you can tell from the title, I'll be predicting the entire 2019 African Cup of Nations. So grab a snack and the cup of your favorite beverage, sit back, relax, and enjoy. The 2019 AFCON was originally scheduled to be hosted by the reigning champions Cameroon, but because of some civil unrest in the country, it was moved to Egypt. The 2019 AFCON will be contested by 24 teams, an increase of 8 teams from the last event. In the order of date of qualification, let's start with Egypt. They qualified as hosts and as runners-up in Group J. This is their 24th appearance in the AFCON. Their last appearance was in 2017 and they won the tournament in 1957, 1959, 1986, 1998, 2006, 2008, and 2010. Then we have Madagascar, who qualified as runners-up in Group A. They are making their first ever appearance at the tournament. And then we have Tunisia, who qualified as winners of Group J. They are making their 19th appearance and they were last at the tournament in 2017. They were the winners of the 2004 event. And then we have Senegal. They qualified as the winners of Group A. This is their 15th AFCON appearance and they were last at the tournament in 2017. Their best tournament finish was runners-up in 2002. Remember that year, guys. They made their World Cup debut. Then we have Morocco. They qualified as winners of Group B, and this is their 17th tournament appearance. They were last at the 2017 event, and they last won it in 1976. Then we have Nigeria. They qualified as winners of Group E. They're making their 18th tournament appearance, and they were last at the tournament in 2013. They were winners in 1980, 1994, and 2013. So after winning it, Nigeria basically disappeared. Then we have Uganda. They were winners in Group L and they're making their 7th tournament appearance. They were last at the event in 2017 and their best finish was runners-up in 1978. Then we have Mali. They were winners in Group C. This is their 11th AFCON appearance and they were last at the tournament in 2017. Their best finish is a runners-up position in 1972. Then we have Guinea. They were winners in Group H. This is their 12th tournament appearance. They were last at the event in 2015, which meant they missed the last one. Their best finish is a runners-up medal in 1976. Then we have Algeria, who qualified as winners of Group D. This is their 18th tournament appearance. They were last at the event in 2017. Their best finish is a winner's medal in 1990. Then we have Mauritania. They qualified as runners-up in Group I, and just like Madagascar, they are making their tournament debut. And then we have Ivory Coast. They qualified as runners-up in Group H. This is their 23rd tournament appearance and they were last at the event in 2017. Their best finishes are a winner's medal in 1992 and 2015. Then we have Kenya. They qualified as runners-up in Group F. This is their 6th tournament appearance and they are making a comeback after being away from the tournament for 15 years. Last time they were there was 2004. Their best finish is a group stage exit in 1972, 1998, 1990, 1992, and 2004. Then we have Ghana. They were winners in Group F. This is their 22nd tournament appearance and they were last there at the 2017 event. They won the tournament in 1963, 65, 78, and 82. And then we have Angola. They were winners in Group I. This is their 8th tournament appearance and they were last at the tournament in 2013. Their best finish is a quarterfinals exit in 2008 and 2010. And then we have Burundi, who were runners-up in Group C, and alongside Madagascar and Mauritania, they are also making their AFCON debut. And then we have the holders Cameroon. They qualified as runners-up of Group B. Rightfully, Cameroon should have been banned from the tournament, but I don't know what happened there. They are making their 19th tournament appearance. They were last at the tournament in 2017 when they won the event, and they also won the tournament in 1984, 1988, 2000, and 2002. And then we have Guinea-Bissau. They qualified as winners of Group K. This is their second tournament appearance, and they were last at the event in 2017 where they made a group stage exit. Now we have Namibia. They were runners-up in Group K, and this is their third tournament appearance. They were last there in 2008. Their previous two appearances, they exited at the group stage. And then we have Zimbabwe. They qualified as winners of Group G. They are making their fourth tournament appearance. They were last there at the 2017 event, and their best finish is a group stage exit. Then we have DR Congo. They qualified as runners-up in Group G, and they're making their 19th tournament appearance. They were last there in 2017, and they won the event in 1968 and 1974 when the country was named Zaire. Then we have Benin. They qualified as runners-up in Group D. They're making their fourth tournament appearance, and they were last there in 2010. Their best finish is a group stage exit. Then we have Tanzania. They qualified as runners-up in Group L, and this is their second ever AFCON appearance, and they were last there in 1980 where they exited at the group phase. Talk about benefiting from the expansion. And last but not least, we have South Africa, who qualified as runners-up in Group E, and they're making their 10th tournament appearance. They were last there in 2015, and they won the tournament back in 1996. Are you still here? Thank you very much, but now is the time for me to make my predictions. Let's start with Group A. In Group A, we have DR Congo, Uganda, Zimbabwe, and the host Egypt. I'm gonna be straight up. I'm not gonna bore you and babble on and talk about what this team is gonna do or what this team isn't gonna do. I'm just gonna give you my predictions, because regardless of what I do, the tournament is gonna turn out however it wants to. I am learning from previous experiences, so I'm just gonna go ahead and give you my predictions for each group. Then we're gonna move on to the round of 16, quarterfinals, semifinals, and then I let you know who I think is gonna win the 2019 African Cup of Nations. So let's start with Group A. Zimbabwe, Uganda, DR Congo, and Egypt. Who are gonna top this group? Well, it's clear, guys. I'm gonna go for Egypt to top this group. They have their talisman in Mohamed Salah. Not a lot of other big standout players, but with a man like Salah in your team, he means a lot, and he will have an effect. Look at what he did pre-World Cup, and even during the World Cup, he sizzled a bit despite Egypt not winning any games or bowing out at the group phase. But this is not the World Cup. This is Africa. This is the African Cup of Nations. And I think that as hosts, Egypt are gonna top this group. Coming in second in this group, guys, I'm gonna go for a surprise pick, and I'm gonna say it's gonna be Zimbabwe. When I did a little bit of research, on Group A, and Zimbabwe has a pretty good record against DR Congo and against Uganda. Not so much against Egypt, but they have a very, very solid record versus the other two teams. So I'm gonna go with Zimbabwe to come in second. Not that Zimbabwe has all the big names or anything, but I'm just gonna go for Zimbabwe to come in second. Third in the group, I'm gonna go for Uganda. Again, Uganda has a very, very good record versus DR Congo. Not so much versus Zimbabwe and Egypt, but I just have a good feeling about Uganda to come in third. And last in the group, despite having a very, very good roster, I'm gonna go for DR Congo. So let's move on to Group B, where we have Nigeria, Guinea, Madagascar, and Burundi. This is a very tricky group to predict because it has two debutants in it, so we don't know how this one could go. And we also have Nigeria coming back from a two-tournament hiatus, so it will be tricky. But for my first place team in Group B, I'm gonna go for Nigeria. They looked good at the World Cup despite bowing out at the group stage, but still the team is getting their act together, and I think they're gonna do very, very well at the tournament. That is not a spoiler. Doing very well means getting out the group. Coming in second in this group has an element of surprise, so I'm gonna go for Madagascar, the new boys, to come in second. Third in the group, I'm gonna say Guinea. That's Naby Keita's team. I don't know if he's fully fit yet. I don't know how it's gonna affect the Guinean team, but I'm gonna go for them to come in third. And last in the group, I'm gonna say Burundi. Another new team at the tournament. They have Saido Berahino. Ooh, Berahino! He has gotten his touchback playing for Burundi. I think he helped them qualify for this tournament, but I don't think they're going to do anything in the tournament at all. Well, I can be wrong, but I'm going to say no for now, and they come in last in the group. So Nigeria, Madagascar, Guinea, and Burundi in fourth place. So let's move on to Group C, where we have Senegal, Algeria, Kenya, and Tanzania. This group is very tricky to predict, but I have made up my mind already. First in the group, I'm gonna go for Senegal. They did really well at the World Cup despite not qualifying for the knockout phase, but they looked good under Aliou Cisse, and the team is stacked up to the brim. Sadio Mane, Mbaye Niang, Kalidou Koulibaly, Ismail Assar, Moussa Wagué, and these are just to name a few of the really good players playing for Senegal. Coming in second, I'm gonna go for Algeria. Despite not qualifying for the 2018 World Cup, in the African Cup of Nations, I think they're gonna do okay and at least qualify for the next round. So I'm gonna go for Riyad Mahrez and Brahimi and those boys to come in second in the group behind Senegal. Third in Group C, I'm gonna go for Kenya. I don't know much about Kenya. I know that Victor Wanyama plays for the team, and that's all I know about the Kenyan team. But the fact that they qualified for a 2014 tournament out of 50-something teams, they have to be pretty decent, right? I'm gonna go for them to come in third. And last but least in the group, I'm gonna say Tanzania to come in fourth. So that's my prediction for Group C. Senegal to top, Algeria coming second, Kenya third, and Tanzania fourth. And now we move on to Group D, where we have Morocco, Ivory Coast, South Africa, and Namibia. This group is also a very tough group to predict. Three good teams, not so much Namibia, but South Africa, Morocco, and Ivory Coast, they are really good. So this is hard, but of course, you know, I made up my mind already. I did. Coming in first in the group, I'm gonna go for Morocco. Guys, what they did at the World Cup was amazing. They were grouped with Iran, Spain, and Portugal, and they competed. They could have made it to the round of 16, but that was a tough group. Iran looked good, Spain looked really good, and of course, guys, we know how good Portugal were. So Morocco, they have Hakim Ziyech playing for them. Ziyech, man, he has been on fire this season. They have Mehdi Benati. I think he hasn't retired from international football as well. The team is good, and I'm only naming a few players. There's many more talented players from Morocco, but I'm gonna say Morocco top this group and move on to the round of 16. And I forget to mention that the manager, Renard, is an AFCON specialist. He has managed quite a few African teams, and he knows what he's doing. And I think he and Morocco are gonna do okay at the 2019 tournament. Coming in second in the group, I'm gonna go for Ivory Coast. And despite not qualifying for the 2018 World Cup, we know how good this team is. They have a lot of talent in that team. I think they just don't know how to use the talent well. Maybe they need a better manager or something. Coming in third in the group, I'm gonna go for South Africa. Well, we don't know what South Africa will do. They're a very mercurial team, but the 1996 champions will just miss out on the top two positions. And last but least in the group, I'm gonna say Namibia coming fourth. I don't know much about Namibia. I don't even know a Namibian football player, and I'm gonna really underestimate them and say they place dead last in Group D. So just to recap Group D, Morocco first, Ivory Coast second, South Africa third, and Namibia fourth. So now let's move on to Group E, where we have Tunisia, Mali, Angola, and Mauritania. This is a weird group because most of the teams in this group I don't really know that well, but I'm gonna predict it anyway. First in the group, this one might be very easy. I'm gonna go for Tunisia. I may be wrong. I'm underestimating the other teams in the group, but from what I've seen from Tunisia at the 2018 World Cup and before that, I'm gonna say Tunisia tops this group very, very easily. Coming in second, I'm gonna go for Mali. This is also a team I don't know much about, but from what they did in qualifiers, I think Mali are a team on the up and they're going to qualify for the next round. Coming in third, I'm going to go for Angola. I could remember them making their debut at the 2006 World Cup and then basically disappearing. But for the Portuguese-speaking team, I'm going to put them third in the group. They have talent to play in Portugal and elsewhere, but I just think they're going to miss out on top two. And last but not least in the group are the new boys, Mauritania. Well, I don't know much about Mauritanian football at all, and they're making their debut. They should just be happy to be there. Well, not really, but I'm gonna say they're coming last in the group. So to recap Group E, Tunisia tops the group, Mali comes in second, Angola third, and Mauritania last. And now we are down to the final group where we have the holders Cameroon, Ghana, Guinea-Bissau, and Benin. This is also a very, very tricky group to predict where we have Guinea-Bissau and Benin, two teams I don't really know much about, so there will be an element of surprise there, but there's two big teams in the group, Ghana and Cameroon. Who would top the group? In my opinion, I'm gonna go for Ghana. They missed the 2018 World Cup, but I think they're trying their hardest to get their act together. They have guys like Thomas Partey, the RU brothers there, so I think they have the talent where they can actually do something at this tournament. So I'm gonna go for them to come in first in Group F. Coming in second, the holders, Cameroon. They also missed the 2018 World Cup. They didn't really impress at the Confederations Cup. And the fact that they were supposed to host a tournament and they got it taken away from them, I think it would affect their chances of successfully defending the title. Third in Group F, I'm gonna go for Guinea-Bissau. Don't know much about this team. I don't even know any players from Guinea-Bissau, well, off the top of my head. If you let me know, I will know the player, but I can't think of any right now. And last in the group is Benin. Also, don't know much about this team, so I'm underestimating them. But guys, come on. Cameroon or Ghana should go on to top Group F. So now we are done with predicting all the groups and we know our group winners and runners-up. We now need to pick 4 third-place teams to go on to the round of 16. My first third-place team is gonna come from Group A, and I'm gonna go with Uganda. My second third-place team is gonna come from Group B, and I'm gonna go with Guinea. Third place team is gonna come from Group D, and I'm gonna go with South Africa. And my fourth and final third place team is gonna come from Group E. I'm gonna go in with Angola. So that's it for the group phase. Let's move on to the round of 16. So guys, the way we're gonna do the round of 16, we're gonna do them in brackets. We're gonna have, let's say, bracket A and bracket B. You could say the left side or the right side if you want, but I'm gonna go with bracket A and bracket B. For the first matchup in bracket A, we're gonna see the runners-up in Group A take on the runners-up in Group C. And those teams are Zimbabwe versus Algeria. Zimbabwe versus Algeria. This one isn't a hard one to predict, so I'm gonna go in for Algeria to come through this and move on to the last 8. Guys, you could also let me know what you think down below as we go along. So Algeria, the first team in the quarterfinals. Guys, remember we are still in bracket A or the left side of the bracket right now, so stay with me. We are gonna see the first place team in Group D take on the third place team in Group E. And those teams are Morocco and Angola. So Morocco versus Angola. This one is another straightforward one to predict, I think. I'm gonna go for the North African team, Morocco. Remember guys, the tournament is held in Egypt. Similar conditions to Morocco and Algeria. Hence I went with the 2 North African teams to move on to the quarterfinals. And then we move on to the next matchup where we have the first place team in Group B taking on the third place team in Group A. And those teams are Nigeria versus Uganda. I'm afraid I'm gonna go for Nigeria to move on to the quarterfinals. I know I'm being a bit boring and predicting the stronger team to go through, but that's just what I think. I think Nigeria are in a very, very, very good position to at least compete for this AFCON 2019 trophy. I think so. So they're going to push aside Uganda. Well, not push aside. Uganda, a pretty decent team, but they're going to prevail over Uganda and move on to the last 8. And don't get me wrong, I would love to see a team like Uganda or Zimbabwe or one of these teams make a deep run in the tournament. And then we have the final matchup in bracket A, where we will see the first place team from Group F take on the second place team from Group E. And those teams are Ghana and Mali. So Ghana versus Mali. This is where I give you a twist, guys. I'm going to go for Mali to upset, let me say upset Ghana and move on to the quarterfinals. Sorry to all the Ghanaians watching this, you know. I know Ghana didn't qualify for the 2018 World Cup and you guys are still shattered by that, but I don't think Ghana gonna have a very, very good tournament. That's also another bold prediction I'm making. I'm gonna go for Mali to move on to the quarterfinals and take the dark horse tag for the 2019 African Cup of Nations. That's also another bold prediction. So now we are done with bracket A. And the 4 teams that I'm predicting to move on to the quarterfinals from bracket A are Mali, Nigeria, Algeria, and Morocco. So now we are all wrapped up with the round of 16 in bracket A. Let's move over to bracket B. For the first matchup, we will see the winners in Group E take on the runners-up in Group D. And those teams are Tunisia versus the Ivory Coast. This is not an easy one to predict by any stretch of the imagination because both are very, very good teams. But like Morocco and Algeria being in North African conditions, I'm going to go for Tunisia to prevail here versus Ivory Coast. Sorry, but I think Tunisia will prevail here. Not that these teams will definitely meet. Remember, these are my predictions. But if they do meet at the tournament, I'm going to go for Tunisia to get through. Tunisia, they did well at the World Cup, guys. We know that. It was a tough group, but they showed promise. They really, really showed promise. Wabi Kazri, Msakni should be back, and the team has a whole bunch of talented players. Slitty, Skiri, and more. I don't need to mention these names. These guys are very good, very, very talented, and they are also a very much underrated team. So I'm going to go for Tunisia to prevail over Ivory Coast and move on to the quarterfinals. For the next matchup, we have the first place team in Group C taking on the third place team in Group B. And those teams are Senegal versus Guinea. This one is very easy to predict. Maybe, according to what I think. But I'm going to go for Senegal to come through here. I think they are in a really, really, really good patch of form right now. Aliou Cisse has been doing a great job with this team. Sadio Mane on fire. We know what Mbaye Niang could do, and we know what this team is capable of. And I think they're going to move on to quarterfinals, regardless of who they meet in the round of 16. So I'm going to go for Senegal to prevail over Guinea. For the next matchup, we have the second place team in Group B taking on a second place team in Group F. And those teams are Madagascar, the New Boys, versus the holders, Cameroon. Oh boy, this is where it gets tricky. This is where it gets really, really tricky because there's a twist, guys. There's a twist. And believe it or not, if this happens, I'm going to go for Madagascar to move on versus the holders, Cameroon. They're going to battle it here. They're going to choke. And I'm going to say Madagascar, the New Boys, are going to be one of the dark horses at the tournament as well. So regardless of who they meet in the tournament, I think they're going to do something really, really good and impress the world. The names of the Madagascar players are very, very, very hard to say. Very, very hard to say. I'm not even going to try to. But I think Madagascar going to go on to the quarterfinals. So that's a bold one, right? That's a bold one. But guys, can't make it boring, right? So for the last matchup in the round of 16 on the B side of the bracket, we have the first place team in Group A taking on the third place team in Group D. And those teams are Egypt, the host, versus Bafana Bafana, or South Africa as the world knows it as. So Bafana Bafana versus Egypt. Egypt the host, Mohamed Salah lurking around, a new manager and all, and oh man, this one is very easy to predict. Egypt prevail, move on to the last 8. No way Egypt are gonna trip up versus South Africa. And no disrespect to South Africa, they have talent, they have decent players, but they're not gonna topple Egypt in Egypt at an African Cup of Nations. So I'm gonna go for Egypt to be the final team to move on to the last 8. So on the B side of the bracket, we have Tunisia, Senegal, Madagascar, and Egypt going into the last 8. So now let's move into the quarterfinals. So for the first quarterfinal matchup, and we're gonna start with the Algeria versus Morocco matchup. Oh my God, an all Arabic quarterfinal game. This one is gonna be big. This is a derby. This is big. This is huge. And to predict a winner here is gonna be very, very, very difficult. It's gonna be hard. But after very, very deep thought, I think Morocco are gonna prevail here. My gut feeling is telling me Morocco is gonna prevail. I'm not gonna go into explanation or anything. I'm just gonna go with my gut feeling and say Morocco get past Algeria. For the other quarterfinal matchup on the A side of the bracket, we have Nigeria coming up versus Mali. Oh man, this is another difficult one, but not because I'm wearing the Nigerian shirt. I almost forgot I was wearing the Nigerian shirt in the video, but I'm gonna go for the Super Eagles to prevail over Mali and move on to the semifinals. Nigeria looks good, man. Chuck Woozy, very, very good form there with Villarreal. Despite Villarreal not doing very well, he's linked to a lot of big teams across Europe. We have a table. We have Balogun, you know, Iwobi. The team is pretty decent. The team is decent, and I think they will make a deep run in the 2019 AFCON. At least to the semifinals. So on the A side of the bracket, we will see Morocco take on Nigeria in the semifinals. But before we predict the semifinals, let's go over to the B side of the bracket to first predict the quarterfinals. The first quarterfinal matchup, we have Tunisia versus Senegal. Oh man, this one is not an easy one to predict either. It ain't. It's not an easy one to predict. But again, my gut feeling tells me that Senegal will get through a matchup like this, despite it being played in North African conditions, and Tunisia is a North African team. But Senegal over Tunisia here. I'm gonna go with Senegal. For the next matchup on the B side of the bracket in the quarterfinals, we have Madagascar coming up versus the host Egypt. Oh man, this is a tricky, no, not so tricky, but I'm gonna say Egypt will get past Madagascar and it will end their fairy tale run in the 2019 African Cup of Nations. So we will see Egypt take on Senegal in the semi, Morocco versus Nigeria. Who will make it to the finals? First, let me start with the A side of the bracket. Morocco versus Nigeria. Who will make it to the finals? Guys, I think it's going to be Morocco. I just think Morocco are a better team right now than Nigeria. So if they do meet at the tournament, I'm going to say Morocco will defeat them and move on. So Morocco, the first team in the finals of my 2019 African Cup of Nations prediction. So regardless to who Morocco meet at the tournament, I'm actually predicting them to make it to the finals, right? Ooh, that is a bold prediction. Very, very, very bold. But I have to predict, and I'm doing so. So Morocco will make the final of the 2019 African Cup of Nations. But who will they play in the finals? Will they meet Egypt, another North African team, another Arabic team like themselves, or will they meet Senegal? Oh, Egypt versus Senegal, Salah versus Mane. We see these two guys playing for Liverpool week in and week out if you do watch the English Premier League, and they do compete within the team to see who can score the most goals, but who will outscore each other or one another on the day? Mohamed Salah or Sadio Mane? This one is hard to predict, but I have to predict. I'm going to go for Senegal to prevail over Egypt. I don't think that Egypt are going to win the 2019 African Cup of Nations. That's also a prediction within this prediction video. So I'm gonna go for Senegal to prevail over Egypt. I'm not gonna give you score lines or anything. I just think they're gonna go on and they're gonna meet Morocco in the final. So we have a Morocco versus Senegal in the final, a North African team versus a Western African team. That's where Senegal is, right? In the West? Am I right with my geography right now? But I think so. Maybe, not sure. Maybe not sure. Do I need to look that up or something? But anyways, that's not important. But Senegal versus Morocco in the finals. Who's going to win a matchup like this? I think both teams have very, very good chances to win the tournament. Nigeria also does. Egypt also does. But my prime candidates are Morocco and Senegal. And I'm going to go for Senegal to win this tournament. This will be their first ever African Cup of Nations title, and it's going to be well deserved if they do go on to win it. Sadio Mane is in red hot form, and there's hordes of talent on the Senegalese team. I don't need to go through them. You should know them. If you're getting this far in the video and you don't know much about Senegal, and I'm predicting them to get this far in the tournament, well, maybe you're just watching it to learn or for entertainment. But Senegal will go on to win the 2019 African Cup of Nations. It would be crazy if they just flop and bow out in the group phase, right? I would look so stupid. But these are only my thoughts and predictions. I have to make a video about the African Cup of Nations, and these are my predictions, you know? Regardless to what I predict, the tournament may go different. I don't think it's going to go exactly the same as I predict. But Senegal, the winners of the 2019 African Cup of Nations, according to your boy Dominic Rich. Guys, what I want you to do, if you can, is predict the entire 2019 African Cup of Nations in the comment section down below. Or you can tell me who you think are going to move on from the group phase, and you can leave it right there. Or you could just tell me who's going to win the entire event. I'm going to go for Senegal, and it's final. So if you're done with your beverage, you're done with your snack, and you're new around here, consider hitting the subscribe button. Also smash the thumbs up button. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Share this video on your social medias. Like, if you're getting this far, just share the video. Press the share. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Reddit, wherever you can. And guys, thank you very much for watching. And until my next video, peace out. Rich Squad.